Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. What an amazing episode was that! But before I get into my review, I want to say that Erkenci won 3 Panten Altın Kelebek awards on Sunday night. So one for the best romantic comedy series, one for the best romantic comedy actor, so Can Yaman, and one for the best romantic comedy actress, Demet Özdemir. So I felt like a proud mother. I was so excited when I heard it, when I've seen it, all of them standing there on the stage. I was so happy that they won this amazing award. Now to my review. What an amazing episode was that. I mean, this was pure Canem. Loved it so much. So we start where we left off last episode, right after the kiss. And then Can says something along the lines of, yeah, we're now boyfriend and girlfriend, kind of. And then she goes in for a kiss. I didn't expect it at all. He didn't expect it either. I was like, oh my god, this is such a good start to this episode. And then, just like I said in my prediction, they won't go back as a couple or together to the after party. So Can says, you wait here because you don't want to get back because your dress is ruined and everything. So I'll go back, say goodbye to everyone in a nice way, and then you wait by my car and we'll drive away. So he goes back. Jada is all like, oh, finally you're here, let's go to the after party. And then Can says, no, I have other matters to attend. I have something more important to do. You go to the party, have fun, blah blah blah. And Jada was like a little kid who didn't get what they wanted. And I was like, in your face. And that didn't just happen once, it happened twice. Later in the episode, she comes to the office and then she's like, well, I'm going to wait in Can's office because I only want to talk to Can. I don't need Canem. And I was like, woman, don't ruin this amazing episode for me. And then she goes to his office and waits in his office. I mean, who does that? If I know that the boss isn't here, the person I want to talk to, I come back later, or I just say, let him call me or do something else, but not wait in his office. Hello. But yeah, she waits there. But then Can comes and says, I can't go tonight because I have something planned already. And she's like, well, I organized it for you, blah blah blah. And I was like, Can, please don't say yes, just don't say yes. And he didn't say yes. And she's like, okay, well then I have to go. Oh god, like a little kid who didn't get what they wanted. And I was so happy. I was like, in your face, woman. If you don't get the signs, why don't you get the signs that he's not interested in you? Just do the necessities, like just talk with him about work. I get it, you have a work relationship, but that's it. He's not interested in you. But yeah, I was so happy. I was so happy that we didn't get as much Jada as we did last episode. I love the fact that Layla is hashtag Team Canem. I love her so much for that, for covering up for Canem. The first time is right after the party, so Canem says, well, I'm with Can, he will drive me home. And she's like, okay, don't worry, I got you covered. I love that because she didn't let anyone see what's happening or notice that something is wrong. And then the day after, when Canem confesses or tells her about her relationship with Can, she says, well, I trust Can because he proved himself that he loves you, blah blah blah. And then she also covered for Canem when Canem wanted to go to the cabin with Can. And Canem had this plan that she will tell her mom that she's going with Ayhan to the movies. So I really loved Layla in those moments. So right after the party, Can drives her home, but he actually wanted to drive to his house, but Sanem already told Layla that he'll drive her home. Well, I really like this, that Can respects Sanem and Sanem's decisions so much. Even though he has this urge to spend more time with her, he just respects all of her decisions, and I love that so much, because nowadays you don't really find that anymore. I think 10 out of 10 for Can for respecting her decisions and just taking it slow. And whenever they're together alone, that's a whole nother story. But when they're in the open, in the world, you could say, he just respects her and her decisions, so I really like that. But what I wanted to say is he drives her home, and then I see Melahat at the window. I was like, no, please Melahat, don't tell anyone. But thank God she didn't see him smelling her neck. And then she also sees Layla and Emre. I was like, Melahat, what are you doing at that time? What are you doing? Everyone is sleeping. You're the only one either eating seeds or some kind of cake. And then the next day she tells Mevkebe. And because of that, Mevkebe is second guessing her daughters. And I was like, Melahat, don't make it worse. We finally get those amazing Janem moments. Please don't ruin them. She kind of ruined them, I have to say. But it's Melahat in the end, and that spices the story up a little bit, which I love. I love the fact that while Mevkebe was second guessing Sanem and Layla, Nihat just trusts them and was like, well, what did you want? Did you want them to come by bus? So it's way better for them to be driven right to our house than for them to come alone by bus. So he trusts them, and I really like that. And Mevkebe was like more relaxed. She was like, okay, you're right, we raised them right, there's nothing wrong with that, let the people talk. And then still at the party we get Eileen being a total party pooper, being like, meh, 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 meh. My plan didn't work with Sanem's PowerPoint, meh, 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 meh. Look at Emre flirting with Layla, laughing with her, having a good time, meh, 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 meh. Let me send my negative energy to Daran and make her feel bad about Can and Sanem, meh, 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 meh. Oh God, that woman was really like so annoying, so desperate at the same time. And then we have Emre driving Layla home. I mean, I was like, okay, that's nice. And then they had such fun in his car, and he was laughing, she was laughing. When he said, well, you look beautiful, I was like, oh, Emre. And then they arrived at her home, and then I was like, okay, well, nice. And then she goes in for like a goodbye kiss, but on the cheeks, and then he goes in as well, and then he kisses her. Emre kissed Layla, and I was like, what just happened? Oh my God, I couldn't breathe. I was just like shocked, but in a positive way. I was like so excited. But then I was like, oh God, please don't let it be a game of Emre's. But then he was like, well, I'm sorry, I couldn't help, like I couldn't hold myself back. And she was like, no, that's okay, you don't have to. And he's like, okay, I won't hold myself back. And I was like, oh my God, Layla and Emre are happening. And I was like so happy, like so excited. I was prepared for the Janem kiss we got in the preview, but then the bomb happened. The first kiss that between Can and Sanem, where Sanem initiated it. Then the second time where Layla kissed Emre, or more like Emre kissed Layla. And I was like, oh my God. Can I just say that I really liked Emre in this episode. He was like a changed man. In my previous review I said I was so confused with Emre because one time he's good, one time he's bad, blah blah blah. But now he was completely changed. He was so good. So I don't know, he's really changed. I can't say anything else. I really liked him in this episode, even though I liked him previously as well, but I'll get annoyed with him being this bad person, so it's like a love-hate thing for me. But in this episode I was so pleasantly surprised, so yeah, I really liked him. And then the next day where he's like still thinking about this kiss he had with Layla, And I was like, oh, so sweet. And then who messages him? Eileen. I mean, woman, why are you so persistent to ruin amazing moments? And then he's like, well, I'll call you when I have time. And she's like, no, I'm in front of your house. You can either come out or I'll come in. Oh my god, woman, why are you doing this, seriously? And then they meet up and he's like, well, I don't have any more feelings for you. This is just a work relationship we have. And then she's like, well, you don't decide this, I do, blah blah blah. But I love the fact that Emre was kind of protecting Layla when Eileen was talking bad about her. He was like, watch your mouth, don't say that, blah blah blah. And she's like, well, who are you and who is she? Look, we're soulmates. And I was like, no, you're not. You're definitely not soulmates. So I was really scared that Emre would change back. And then when he arrived at the company being all cold and kind of ignoring Layla, I felt so bad for Layla, really. She was like so happy, but then he just turned so cold. But then you kind of see that he's looking after her when she left his office, so there was still this spark. So I still had hope that he will warm up again in this episode. And then at the end of their work day, I was like, go Layla, go. And she gathered all her courage to go to him, to confront him with his behavior, how she's feeling, blah blah blah. And I was like, yes Layla, just tell him. And then he grabs her and is like, well, I'm sorry, blah blah blah. And then he kisses her again. I was like, oh my god, it's happening again. Oh my god, Layla and Emre are happening. And then he's like, well, I don't want to disappoint you anymore, I don't want to confuse you anymore, blah blah blah. So it's happening. And then he told her that she's always calling him Emre, and he's like, no, just Emre. And I was like, oh my god, it's happening. Oh, Layla and Emre are happening. So excited. Then there was also JJ. I mean, come on, this man is killing me, like in a positive way. Just a side note, because Arnold the actor has like an eye bug or something, he has to wear the glasses. And now John said in his, what do you call it, like speech when he received the award, he said that, sorry, I have to wear glasses because I have an eye infection, and I'll have them in the next 2 episodes as well. So is there an eye infection going around? So I hope that nobody else will get it. But yeah, just a side note. So first we get JJ screaming at Deren because she wants coffee, and he's like, well, it's bad for your bones. And this is a back and forth. I want coffee. This is bad for your bones. I want coffee. This is bad for your bones. And then she walks away saying, I want coffee. And he's like, well, then let your bones melt, blah blah blah. I laughed so much. He's so amazing. And then when they get the news from Deren that Sanem was promoted to script writer or something, some kind of a writer, and then when everyone leaves, he's like, well, Derosh, that was the first thing I laughed out loud to. He's like, Derosh, you couldn't say it out loud around all those people, but tell me, which department am I? Which management am I? Come on, promote me as well. I was like laughing so much. It was so amazing. And then Deren wanting to find out more about Can and Sanem, if they're really in a relationship, and inviting Güliz and JJ to eat with her because she knows that those 2 people can't keep secrets. I laughed so much. He was amazing. I really don't get how the other actors can act with him, because I would laugh constantly. And then when Jada comes and he's like, oh god, Deren saw me, she's going to ask me about Sanem, and he just puts on random earphones and it's like dancing, and there's no cable, no music, nothing. And then he says, well, Sanem is not here, I don't know where she is. Last time I saw her on the toilet, and maybe she's in the hospital because of diarrhea. I laughed so much. I mean, come on. Did they really write everything down like that? Or is that him coming up with those brilliant ideas? I don't know. Whoever does. 10 out of 10. And then him talking on the phone with Ayhan. First of all, picking up the phone with his nose, sliding the thing. to answer Ayhan, and he's like, well, I can't hear you, and just throws his phone in the garbage container, you can say, and then him trying to get it back out. I laughed the whole scene through. And then when they are at the movies and basically just sitting in the park in the cold watching on Ayhan's phone instead of really being in the cinema, and him freezing up, and he's like, I'm not shaking it, you don't need to give me your jacket. I laughed so much. And then when he hears warm chestnuts, he's like, warm, and then warms up at this cart, and he's like, well, can you just play along a little bit? I'll buy all your chestnuts, just I want to be in the warmth. And the man is like, okay, yeah. And then they just watch the movie there at the cart because he's freezing. Oh my god, JJ, I love you so much. Oh god. And then we get those Osman Muzo moments. Oh my god, how amazing. Osman just looking through the neighborhood with the director for the perfect shooting places, and then you get this mafia boss coming with a gun, and I was like, oh my god, Muzo, where did you get this gun from? And then he really shoots and everyone is scared. I was like, oh my god, what just happened? And then he explains it, he prepared this monologue, and then he goes like, well, did I get the part? Did I get the part? I prepared this and that, blah blah blah. And then everyone is like, well, where did you get the gun from? And he's like, well, it's not real, and just shoots at random people. It doesn't have bullets. Look, and just runs around with the gun chasing people. He is amazing. Muzo is amazing. And then when they're actually filming a scene, everyone keeps interrupting. First, everyone applauds because Osman is the hero, and then the second time is Muzo coming like a mafia boss again with his money, and I'll just beat you up, blah blah blah. And then the third time is a woman coming and saying, Osman, do you have some kind of meat, because I got some visitors here. So after the thief left and everyone is looking for that person, you can see Muzo coming with the electroshock and in his pajamas. Oh my god, I have to say I have a similar jumper as well, but it's not a Santa Claus, it's an elf actually. So I felt kind of connected to Muzo. And now I come to the amazing Canem moments. Just a little side note, this was the first time we really got Can with bad head, like just right after he woke up, like literally looking like he just woke up. Because the previous times, whenever he woke up, he had this perfect bun, perfectly styled hair, and I was like, this is not realistic. But okay, I don't mind it because, yeah. But this time, we really got bad head. Loved it. I mean, come on. Can is looking amazing either way, but really loved it. Not gonna lie. So the first moment I loved was right after Canem got her promotion and Dagan walks out there alone, and he shows her the articles about the launch night, and then she just looks at him and he's like, well, don't look at me like you're saying kiss me or something like that. And she's like, don't you want to kiss me? Or what are you, Can or Canbay? I don't know, blah blah blah. So and then he tries to kind of kiss her and they get close, but every time people are walking by. And then they get to his house and they're cooking. I mean, Canem, please learn how to cook. I'm shocked but at the same time amused at how she cooks, and he doesn't mind at all. And he had a backup plan, so he ordered those pizzas, and then he comes in. Now, what I didn't really get, who holds those pizza packages? What, I don't even know what you call them in English. Who holds them like this? So the pizza is actually like sliding down. I don't know, I always hold them like level. I don't even know how to describe it, but instead of holding them like this, he holds them like this and is hugging them. And I'm like, those pizzas, I was really concerned about the pizzas. Like, they don't survive. What are you doing? Who's holding those packages like that? I mean, when he sits down and opens up the pizza box, it's called box. Now I remember. The pizzas just look normal. I care way too much about pizza to actually hold it like John like does this. Or am I the only one thinking that way? I don't know. But yeah, I found it really weird, but at the same time quite amusing. And then we get their talk that he is Sanem's first boyfriend. She's like, well, you had many girlfriends then. And he's like, no, no one touched my heart like you did. And I was literally melting there. I mean, I would turn so red if someone would tell me those words. I would be like, I wouldn't know what to do. I would be lost in space. Like, I don't know. Like, props to Sanem to actually behaving normally after he said that. And then we get the whole preview happening, and then we get the whole cabin stuff. So before that, even John waiting for Sanem and just looking up. Is she coming out from the window like the last time? Is she coming from behind me? Where is she coming from? And then her actually hiding and sliding down the seat until they get out of her neighborhood. And he's like, well, very professional position. We entered panic mode. I laughed so much. And then the whole scene at the cabin, I mean, how romantic was the cabin? Him decorating everything. I mean, who wouldn't like to have a boyfriend like John? Not just looks wise, but also his character, how much he cares about Sanem. I mean, where are those men? And then all those fairy lights, and them again kissing, and then him putting on some music, them dancing. I was like, oh, the whole time I was like, oh, so cute, so cute, so cute. My heart, so cute. And then having a great time, and then them snuggling up at the fireplace with this huge blanket, and so romantic. And then Sanem being like, well, I could stay here forever. And then Emre comes because Layla called him that Mevkube wants Sanem home because of the thief. And she says, well, they are at the cabin. And how did Emre know where the cabin was? Because I thought only Sanem knew about the cabin, and then Polen, but let's just ignore her. So how did Emre know where to find Can and Sanem, where the cabin was? I laughed so much when they got scared because Emre ruined their romantic moment, and then Can getting really angry at him. Loved those scenes as well. And then the next day we get Sanem being stressed about not telling her mom about the relationship, and Can is kind of noticing it, and he's like, well, let's talk to them, they will understand, blah blah blah. And who do you see behind them, following them to the park? And then you see, like, you're actually looking at Can and Sanem, and in the background you see Eileen just walking by, hiding behind a tree. And I was like, no, please don't take pictures. But what does she do? She takes pictures. I was like, no, don't do this, woman. Why are you so desperate to ruin people's lives? I really want to see her life being ruined, actually. And then once again in the left corner you see Yeni bölüm ilk sahne, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be the end. Eileen taking the Canem pictures. She's doing something bad with it. Because I forgot. Because before that, Emre meets up with Eileen, tells her about Sanem not wanting to make her relationship public, and then Eileen is like, well then let's make it easier for her, just tell it everyone. And Emre is like taking Can and Sanem's side and is like, don't do anything without me knowing. And she's like, well, I won't, and is drinking her coffee or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, Emre, don't trust her, because she said it once before and she didn't do what she promised, and that's what happened again. She takes those pictures without him knowing. Emre, please learn your lesson. Don't tell Eileen anything anymore. This was a little minus point for him, but all in all I loved him this episode. And now to Alex's prediction for episode 24. So we get the preview of Sanem being all hyper, all happy, wanting to scream it out to the world that they're together, blah blah blah. So I think this will happen. The preview will happen quite at the beginning of the episode. And then, which kind of surprised me, is that we got a trailer on Sunday. Eileen is sending those Janem pictures to the newspaper, and then we see Myth Kabir being like, well, we decided you'll have restrictions, both of them, so not just Sanem but Layla will also get punished. I'm really interested to see what those restrictions can be. So I think it's maybe Nihat driving them to work and then picking them up. That could be one, because now he's a taxi driver. Maybe Myth could be calling them every hour to see what they're doing, like FaceTiming them. And then Sanem not being allowed to go to Ayhan anymore, and them just being locked in their house, so they're not allowed to go anywhere anymore. So those are the restrictions that I could imagine. And then we see Jan and Sanem talking by the seaside. The problem rocks, actually, because every time they're there something happens, or they're talking about the problem, or they're having a fight. So this time they're talking about the problem, and then Sanem saying something along the lines that if they want to be together they have to be married or engaged, and he's just like, okay, let's get married then. And that explains the picture that Jan posted on his Instagram. You can see a ring on Sanem's finger. So yeah, they will be engaged. But after such an amazing episode full of love, of happiness, there will be drama. I'm sure of it. But I don't mind it at all, because I know it will go to a happy place again. So it's all an up and down. Now we're at the top, at the peak, so we have to go a little bit down for the story to continue. Another thing I want to say is I love their style. Hair, makeup, clothes, love everything. I would do anything to have Sanem's wardrobe. Like seriously, I love everything she wears. And Jan is always on point, like 10 out of 10. Aslı, Parlak, and I'm sorry I don't remember Sanem's stylist. I think it's Dilan something. Both of them brilliant stylists. Love them. I think that's all I can say. I hope I didn't forget anything. But anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It will really mean a lot to me. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me, if you have other thoughts, if I forgot something. Let me know in the comments. I would really love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to see more of these videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.